going to change just by birth rate. That's and age out. The age is going to age out, and Compton's going to be all Hispanic. I don't know what's going to happen to the Black community at that point, right?
Yeah.
The government, the same people been in office forever. And they ain't doing nothing. So I'm not homesick for Compton, although that's where I wanted to start my swim team. But after a while, it was like, I can't deal with this no more. I'm getting old. So moving to Panama and finding out what's happening here and fitting in to what's going on, then creating something that I think can be created. That's where I'm putting my energy. I love living. I still got my house in Compton. I love living in Compton, but dealing with the city government and all that stuff is more than I could deal with. Because to use swimming pools, you got to deal with the city. And Compton has a couple of pools in disrepair. And it was just crazy. So I'm here reinventing myself.
Yeah, and I love it.
Ronan.
Yes, Mr. Ronan Travels. He's another expat traveling abroad. Salute to you. He's actually living in the Philippines. He's also a fellow live panel discussion member. We always meet in these YouTube streets. So what's going on to you, Mr. Ronan? How you doing today?
Nice conversation, man. This is definitely a conversation that needs to be had, not only globally, but locally in the United States.
Yeah.
We have been allowed a certain levity of building, but once we got too big, corporate America or even the government went so far as to totally destroy it. Black Wall Street and the like. You get what I mean?
Well, yeah.
And it's a shame that we have to build abroad and we can't build in our own country.
I know, because you're familiar with, in California, there's a place called Allensworth. Allensworth was a town that was built by Black folks, right?
Right.
And the white communities, getting jealous of these folks building this town, they poisoned the well. They poisoned the well because they just couldn't see the Black folks doing all right.
Wasn't Manhattan Beach in the same light? There was a Black family that owned Manhattan Beach at one point.
Bruce Beach. They called it Bruce's Beach.
It was actually like a resort for Black folks.
Exactly.
And somehow they got the land away from them.
Eminent domain.
Oh, that's right, eminent domain. And they put currently on that land is like a county building, and so that portion of that land was given back to the family, but the family sold it.
Yeah, because they couldn't do anything with it. It was better for them just to take the cash and run because they couldn't develop it the way they wanted to.
Right.
I heard later they sued and won.
They sued and won and they got the money, but they got the land, but then they couldn't do anything with the land, so they just ended up taking the money and run. Because most of the family members didn't even live in California anymore. They actually lived further, like in St. Louis and in the Midwest. So they was like, we're not even there no more to be able to do anything with it, even if we wanted to.
And it wasn't all the land either. It was only a portion of what they originally had. Because it was like a vacation place for Black folks, Manhattan Beach, and now you can't touch those prices.
That land value is sky high.
It's insane.
Everything
in California is nuts. Even my house is going crazy. I don't know who.
I lived out in the rural areas of California. I lived out in Riverside County, San Bernardino County, right there by Lake Elsinore and Marietta and. So those are the areas I lived in because I was right there at the base in Camp Pendleton.
Yeah.
So,
but young families can't afford to buy a house like that no more. Houses are all there. If places approaching $1 million, for a house, it's insane.
Believe me, you know how many people I advised to sell their houses in California and move down south?
Yeah.
I had over 3,000 clients at one point.
What?
I'm a fiduciary and an insurance agent. So most of them sold and either brought down in Texas, Georgia, or wherever.
A spread too, big house.
Yeah, you can buy the same size house for way less, put the rest in an investment portfolio, right. Or in an IUL or something, and live off of that. No longer are children coming home. You don't need to keep this big house. The reason you bought the big house was for the nest egg. Make it a nest egg. Stop getting so personal. I want to keep it so the kids come back. None of all your kids gonna get this
they're
house.
Gonna sell it anyway.
I have 4 boys. None of them all come home at the same time.
Right.
If they ever come home, I usually have to go see them.
So you know that might be what we do. I mean, I could sell the properties I got and just kick it here.
Yeah.
But it's starting to look more and more like we're going to stay here in Panama. I'm gonna go visit LA, and I'm gonna say, oh yeah, this is why I left, and I'm gonna come back.
I don't know, man. LA is just a whole nother thing. California, I love California. I stayed there 30 plus years.
Yeah, I used to love the beach.
From the Midwest, so I lived in Kansas area, and then I went out to California as a Marine. So, I love California and all the different things. You have the advantages of doing all in one day. If you wanted to go ski, you go up to Big Bear, or and then you could drive down and hit the beach all on the same day if you planned it right. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy. The various activities, and then you can go out to the desert, Palm Springs and the like.
Yeah. Yeah. We lived at the beach. I mean, if I miss anything, I do miss the beach. But they got beaches here. It's just that right here in Panama, it's not the same. It's not the same type.
I ran into way too many Californians that have never left their state. They never needed to.
Well, okay, yeah. Except now the cost of living is getting out of hand.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? Those houses in Compton and everything else, those houses have ballooned up. They might have brought those houses originally for maybe 130 or 200,000. Those houses are now 7+ million.
Yes, that's true.
So they got their value out of them. Those Sears and Roebuck put their house together type of houses, and now they're worth over $1 million strictly because most likely it's the land. Most of the people come in and knock down the house and rebuild.
I'm really considering selling mines in the States because of the fact that the whole taxes situation. If you don't pay your taxes, you could stand to lose your house versus here abroad. If you was able to buy something in Panama or something, the taxes is limited. I mean, I know a couple of friends of mine, the one who decorated the birthday piece, she owns her own house here out in the Western Corridor, and she was saying that she doesn't pay any taxes. And her and her mother have 2 houses out here.
I don't know the exact rule, but I heard something similar. They don't tax you like that.
Yeah. So Texas don't pay taxes, especially if you're a retired veteran. So that's the advantage.
Well, they pay property taxes, don't they?
No, not if you're a service-connected veteran at 100% disability.
Because I know they don't have state tax.
It's the one true state. Now, I don't know about all the veterans or benefits in other states, but I know that state specifically, that they're moving there, it's the one state where you truly own your land if you're a veteran, especially 100% connected.
Yeah,
Atlanta, Georgia as well. If you're 100% disabled in Georgia, it's the same thing. They'll give you your that you don't have to pay property taxes.
Because the thread is you never really own your land because they can always come back and get it on tax.
Right.
Now you have that taken away. Now you really can't unless you make up an excuse like eminent domain or some other bullshit.
Because that taxes in California is a monster.
Yeah, California is the worst state I've ever lived in when it comes to them coming after you for state taxes, especially. Not even the federal.
Well, I mean, I was alluding to property tax in California.
Yeah, that too. But I'm just saying they'll come after you for anything when it comes to that state.
I try to stay out of trouble. Yeah, but it could be that I sell all my property and then just live the life down here. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Let's get to this comment. What does it says? I know we was talking about what we was talking about before.
I would consider a helpmate if she's bringing in skills you don't have. Well, if she got skills, then she's got something. Skills is marketable, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So yeah, if it's for real skills, you need that, because skills is in short order here. But I agree with that statement. If someone has skills, you got to use them. So Ronan.
Yes, sir.
You're not from California.
As long as I live there, you might as well say I'm a Californian by adoption. But no, I'm not from there. Originally, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I lived all over the country. My mom was like a gypsy. Every 2 to 3 years, we moved. Until we got into high school, right around high school age. And so, Kansas was one of the states I lived in the most. Obviously, you got the Kansas City flag behind me right there. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, once I joined the Marine Corps, I stayed there for almost 30 plus years because I was stationed. I went to MCRD San Diego, stationed at Camp Pendleton, and then the only other place I was doing duty station at for the 8 years was Hawaii. I did 2 years in Hawaii.
Okay. But you're in the Philippines now.
Yeah.
And what brought you there?
Well, I wanted to travel after retiring. I'm semi-retired right now, and I've done everything for my kids. I've done everything. I went through a bout of PTSD. I'm in full recovery of that, and I understand what the rates are for brothers self-deleting that were veterans that had everything to live for, but they felt like they were useless for one reason or another. So I went through that. And at the end of the day, it was like, I always had a bug. I mean, my mom always had us traveling since we were 3 years old. I learned how to swim in Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? My mom threw me in a deep ass pool and said, swim or sink, and cussed at everybody in Spanish to stay away from me. Did
you learn any other languages?
I know a little Tagalog. I do know Spanish. I can catch the gist of most conversations without knowing every word that's being said.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Spanish. And then also here in the Philippines, when I first came here in the military, I obviously a lot younger. I blended in so well. A lot of the locals were speaking Tagalog to me as a first language, and it's got Spanish in it. So I even understood some of the things they were saying, but I felt really at home here, and the people were super friendly. Obviously, it's because you're an American and they want something from you. Initially, you would think that, right? Especially in the areas we were in, like Subic Bay, Olongapo, that's all driven towards the American base that's right there too. But yeah, I felt really comfortable here. I knew the culture and everything else. So, as I gotten older, I stayed with my kids, raised them, made sure everything was copacetic. Everybody's taken care of. And I started doing self-reflection as I'm going through PTSD and therapy. And I said, you know what? I want to start traveling again. That's when I was at my most peace and felt like I could help or do things for people and felt of service again. There's a lot of things that go mentally with brothers, even men. We're protector providers, but we're also people of service in some way or fashion and form. And that was something I was missing.
So are there a lot of black expats in the Philippines?
They're spread out. You got some popular ones, Sunshine Shoulders, a couple other guys, Dean Hassan, and other YouTubers that you will see, Black Filipino. But a lot of brothers are low key here, if they are here. Not a lot of them on YouTube, but I would say a good portion of us knew about it, especially if you're an expat, like military wise. Most guys knew what was up with the Philippines, especially if you were.
My daddy was stationed in the Philippines back in, I guess, 40.
Navy, Air Force, or Marine?
I think it was the Army.
Army, okay. Yeah, there's an Army base here too. Yeah.
So,
yo, what's going on? Come on. But so that's what brought me out here. But I also had been having LDR with a Filipina here for like almost a year and a half, a conversation, video chat, stuff like that. So came out to explore the options on that, and everything's working out to where we're moving forward.
Well, good, excellent. Well, I don't know what happened to Black Cleaner. Where is he?
Oh, he's there. He likes to turn off his camera.
I'm just trying to man the boards and get the comments. Shout out to Unfriendly Stoic Live. He been hitting me with a couple of comments. What does this one say?
Malta has 0 property taxes. Well, Malta's a pretty small country, isn't it?
Okay.
Postage stamp.
Wow. Where is Malta at?
Europe, isn't it? Malta.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Pull it up on Google Maps.
Okay. Hold on.
G? Hold on, I'll drop the link here in a second in the archive.
I'll tell you in a second.
But yeah, it's an interesting conversation how successful a lot of brothers can be overseas, but how we run into roadblocks by family or by government when we try to do the same thing in America.
Let me ask you a question, which leads me: is it roadblocks that are externally that are preventing us from doing things, or is it roadblocks that are internally that's preventing us from doing it nowadays?
I think it's a combination of both.
It's some of both, yeah. Well, I think sometimes we've been programmed to fight each other, to not trust each other, and it's like subconscious, and we need to kind of break out of that. But that's something for us to work on. Some of it is external because I grew up in California, but my daddy's from Louisiana, and
there it is.
His mother spoke Creole French. Okay,
that's my whole family.
Yeah, and
first language.
They did not teach the children because there was this English only thing that was implemented in early 20th century. You know what I mean? It's English only, and especially since the Louisiana Purchase, it was all French territory. Right? All the laws written in French, everybody speaking French, and there was they had a different racial categories and stuff, right?
They had to segregate. Let's put it that way. My family's from Louisiana. They had to segregate Louisiana when they brought it because everybody was blended, whether it be white and black, white and Indian. It didn't matter. Everybody got along. There was no racism in Louisiana. It was originally the melting pot that originally America was projected to be. Louisiana was first with it.
So after the purchase, now the Americans move into the territory to implement their segregation laws.
Correct.
And so all these mixed people, like the Creole folks.
That's where mulatto and all that came from.
They had to kind of like decide whether they were going to remain with the black folks or move over to the white folks. It was kind of like split that way, because some of them are pretty fair skinned. And but no one really explains this to you. People don't even really teach the Louisiana Purchase.
No.
But if you think about it, that Louisiana Purchase went from Louisiana to Chicago. It was all of that, right?
Yeah, because they were using the river. They were using Mississippi River in order to get produce up into Canada from the Gulf of Mexico. Right. So they used the Mississippi. So all up the Mississippi into Canada or the Great Lakes, that was French territory.
Yeah, it was French territory. And so when the Americans came, they had to change all the laws from French to English. And this took years to do this, but they had to implement the segregation laws. And, then, they keep moving forward, keep going, because Texas was the next state that they brought into the United States, right? And in Texas, the blacks there were free. It wasn't a slave state. But they wanted to make it a slave state so that they said, okay, black folks got to go or you're going to be re-enslaved or, it was a lot of stuff like that. People don't really understand. And so when all of that happened, they said English only. Mm-hmm. English only. So, my family, they didn't teach the kids from my grandmother to her children, they didn't teach them no French, or they discouraged it. And some of that came from outside because, when they go to school, they don't want to have an accent, so they don't teach them French. Now, I only say that because Americans pretty much know one language, generally speaking,
right.
And we've grown up with that all through the 20th century. And it's only now we're saying like, well, why do we only know one language? And we don't even know our original language. We only know colonial languages. I'm trying to learn Spanish. Well, Spanish is a colonial language. I don't know what language we spoke prior to that. So we've gone through a lot over these centuries, right? So now we're trying to collect our culture and try to pull it together so we can work as one nation again.
That's an effort,
and it's a challenge because we came from several nations.
Exactly.
Several
and
tribes.
We're no longer any of those nations anyway because we are so blended out.
No, but we are a nation. But
absolutely. We're on our own culture.
Fragmented. We're fragmented, and I guess we have to look for examples of where we're doing well and where we're communicating and cooperating well, and try to hold up those as an example of what we can do.
All right, so where are we doing well at?
Well, like my man Jeff is an example of what he's. If he's not a millionaire, he's like on his way. That's just one example. I mean, Renee had Mr. Black Cleaner. He had some other examples, and then those are the sort of things we need to say. Okay, well, maybe I can do that too. Maybe I can do something similar. Well, what do I have to offer that I can, use to jumpstart some type of cooperation? I mean, we're like brainstorming right now, and that's good. Brainstorming has to go to planning, and then planning has to go to action, right? Now, I got what I got, right? Coach, I'm a singer. I'm gonna try to build off of that. But at the same time, I got 5 other bandmates. Now, they're not Black. I mean, they're Black. One of them's Black, but they're not American, right? But I might do something with them that creates some kind of economic activity. It's just generally having a thought that you're going to create something and have it grow. That's I think what we're trying to accomplish. Create something and have it grow, and then it moves into a different area and grow. If we can sort of capture that technique or that idea and move forward with it, I think that's where we need to go. Also, we need to educate the next generation coming up, because if we don't give them the skills, they're going to flounder, just like some of us have, right? Anybody have anything to add?
No, I absolutely agree. That's one of the reasons why I'm on this channel right now and why I'm in the YouTube space. What did they say? Gen X has been quiet way too long.
Yes, exactly.
Quiet generation. So now that we're seeing too many things going wrong, you notice a lot of guys our age are starting to speak up a lot more. It's like, no.
Well,
now we got a vested interest. We got grandchildren. We got our sons and daughters. We got almost great grandchildren. Some of us.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's like, some of these things need to be fixed before we disappear.
Yeah, and that's happening. Just stay here long enough, you're going to disappear too. So
exactly.
Break cycles. If your parents weren't there for you, continue to keep pushing, providing, and doing better. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in live every Monday night at 8:00. Real Talk with Nate, the Black Cleaner. Like and subscribe, please.
All right. You signing off, King?
Nah, man, I just feel like I needed to tag that in there real quick, you know.
A little PSA.
Okay.
That's all he promoting. Leave him alone.
I feel good. I mean, I'm just making sure because I you know, the thing is, I know we've been on here for about what is it, going on 2.5 hours now, and I appreciate everybody being here. But you know, Ronan and I both know how long these lives can last. These lives can go for 7 hours. I mean, I've been on ones that have been 10 and 12 hours. So if you feel the need that you don't want to be on here, you can always tap out at any time.
Hey,
yeah, brother, clock in and clock out. You like whole new panel sitting up on here.
Yeah, exactly.
I ain't tap out yet. We've been 5 hours in.
Okay.
Let's go. We'll talk with Nate, the Black Cleaner. Let's go.
All right. So how do you feel about you said this has been your first live on YouTube, Coach?
No, I used to do YouTube. Well, what was it? No, it was Zoom. On YouTube, I guess it probably is my first live on YouTube. But I used to do Zoom a lot when I was in LA, and I had during the pandemic, I had my athletes do exercises on a Zoom meeting. You know, that was another thing because we couldn't really travel, and we were all locked down at home. And I thought the pandemic was only supposed to last 2 weeks, right? But so when it hit, I said I need to keep the kids together. So I had about maybe a dozen kids that I was working with, and I said, "Come on, let's all hop on Zoom." And we used to do exercises on Zoom twice a week. You know, that's about my extent.
Okay. Well, here in this, as Charlie Chan says in this thing of ours, this is what you would call the Black Travel space. So you have, as you see, Ronan Travels. You know, he's here in the Philippines, and there's a couple of other people that are in the travel space that are YouTubers, and we all just network with each other and get on each other's YouTubes, and we just have dialogue about certain subjects. I try to stay in the pro-Black, the pro-building, love, marriage, part of the travel space, and then the others, they'll delve into other things. So Ronan does a little bit, he does a little bit more financing and geopolitics and politics. So we all have our little niche, as they would say.
We can go pretty far with the geopolitics, man.
I know you're very deep in that. I know because you were telling me to look at some of the YouTube news that you follow.
Well, the war in Iran has taken over all of the social media right now. But we got OTO in the backstage about to let them on. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you about to get into a little debate. With all the stuff happening, man, we can go on forever and ever. The war, but I think what you were alluding to when I talked to you, there's some good things happening in Africa that I don't know if everyone kind of has really been following. Captain Traore, you guys know about him?
Are you talking about
Free World, right?
Burkina Faso. Yeah.
I've been following him for a long time. I really liked some of the things he did when he came into power and kicking the French out of his country and standing on his own feet, trying to unite a lot of the other nations, and he actually helped influence the African Union to kick the French.
Oh, just recently.
Just about a year and a half ago,
Yeah, the president of the African Union visited Burkina Faso. Now, the alliance of the Sahel states, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, that is a game changer. And the Western world does not want to see that be successful, but they're being successful, and they're fighting for their sovereignty. And there's Mali's getting attacked right now by the French-backed rebel forces, or whatever you want to call them, terrorists or whatever. But they're French-backed and making it hard on them. But I gotta give them their props for even doing what they're trying to do. Burkina Faso is developing their country without Western money. The other thing that's happening that's real big right now, because we have a energy crisis going on. There's a refinery in Nigeria called the Dangote refinery, built by an African. And when this crisis started happening, where there's no oil coming out of the Strait of Hormuz, Dangote refinery, they didn't want to even give them oil to refine, right? But since this crisis, their refinery is at full capacity right now, and they're making money hand over fist. And so good things are happening, but there's resistance, there's opposition to the success of the Africans in the Sahel states. You got the president of Nigeria and the president of Kenya are on the take, so you can't advance when your leadership is selling you out. So, but there's a lot of changes, like in Botswana, Namibia, South Africa got their own problems, but the things are changing. The tables are turning, and it's good. It's good to see, but they're not.
It's good to see for them. It's good to see them stand on their own 2 feet. So many years I've said this on lives and on panels and different things. Africa needs to stand up for themselves. Don't keep trying to drag Black Americans into it. Once you start standing up for yourself, then assistance can come. So we can't.
So we have to stand up for ourselves.
Right. We can't fight for you. You need to fight for yourself. And that's one of the things I said was a downfall of a lot of Africans. They were more subdued about their aggression than being more forward with it. And when Burkina Faso went off with the rails of what the general European Union likes to see, I knew that was the start of something really, really good.
Right.
And it was
one of the big things about Burkina Faso and the other countries is that the West wouldn't sell them helicopters, wouldn't sell them military, anything, those supplies that you need to fight your terrorists. They wouldn't sell them. He said this. They wouldn't sell him helicopters. He bought them and they never sent them. So this is why he had to go to Russia to ask for a deal for weapons so they can fight. Because you keep them weak, you're always going to have control of them.
Exactly.
Right? That's why they had to kick the French out. Mali kicked them out first, then Burkina Faso, then Niger. And that's when they got together. They had an alliance. They wrote a constitution. They have a mission. They have a vision. But Burkina Faso says, we don't need none of them. We're going to build it ourselves. And that's exactly what we need to do. It's my 2 cents.
All right. With that being said, let me introduce Financial Frontier to the room. How you doing, Mr. Otio?
What's good?
How's everything? He's in Thailand. Say it again.
I said I got a couple trips this week coming up, the Maldives and Switzerland. I ain't complaining.
All right.
All right. So what do you have to say about brotherhood and building abroad?
Yeah, I mean, brotherhood is very important to me, at least. I mean, across the board, I had it from the military, and I think it's important to have it while you're actually in the civilian world. And if men actually built that more up, then maybe they'll delete themselves a little bit at least. Or maybe they won't have as much problems as they have. We tend to kind of get rid of all our friends when in relationships. Both genders do it, but men just do it more so. And so they kind of lean into whatever the social network is of the women and just adapt to that. And then they isolate themselves from their friends. And so I think going in the opposite direction of having brotherhood, I mean real brotherhood, Not just like you can't come to your brothers about anything and they make fun of you. So it's up to men to be mature enough men to actually deal with men in all shapes, forms, and sizes that they come in, and characters that they come in. And I think we don't have that a lot sometimes. So building on it and working in online spaces like this created for ourselves. So I find it to be good. I mean, haven't met anybody here, but Ronan, I consider him a good brother of mine. I know if I could call him, he would be there. And that's more than my friends from childhood. No disrespect to them. It just is what it is. So you could go out and form your brotherhood. It doesn't have to be in the flesh or right close to your immediate place. This is what people are doing online. And this is the pro or the positive I see in social networking, which is overlooked by so much of the negatives people always want to explain about social networking. I find out if we didn't have this, where would we be? We wouldn't be able to talk to people around us about these matters. So I like it. I love it. I think we're going good. What'd you say, Cool?
You get to create family where love is shown and reciprocated.
Yes, sir. Reciprocity. I believe in
and
that.
It ain't gotta be blood.
Yeah. What is the, most people don't understand. They just say, blood is thicker than water. But what the passage actually says is the covenant of the blood is thicker than water of the womb. So it's actually saying that the covenant, the blood of a doctrine, of an ideology that you can join forces of belief in a faith is stronger than water of the womb, even family members themselves. So actually the passage speaks very 180 in the other direction of what people take it to be. You don't choose your family over everything. You choose like-minded individuals over everything.
Talk about it,
That's facts.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me look to this comment real quick. Coach, you're doing so well. Could you read that one?
Bobby Coltrane. That's a fact. David.
Oh, we were talking about something from yesterday, bro. Why'd you highlight that one?
I didn't see
showed
it.
out yesterday.
Yeah, we were on a different YouTube channel. Andre Love Crossing Borders. Andre Love Crossing Borders did a cologne episode where we talked about our different colognes and scents and different things like that. So David Dice is a good buddy, and he had this cologne collection just showed out, man. He brought out some boxes. The presentation of the box looked as good as probably the smell of the cologne. I was like, damn, bro. Well, how much? $800 bottle of cologne, man. Come on.
Was it his own cologne that he created or something?
No. It's something he brought, but he got it on sale. It's $800 normally, but he picked it up at $250.
Okay.
So, that's nice.
He caught a good deal. But yeah, that was we were referencing.
A $300 bottle of cologne that I caught for about $100.
Yeah, you can find them. But then we talked about, clones and different things like that. I talked about counterfeiting. That's a big business in the cologne business. So when you're a cologne head, you got to look out for that. You got to buy from accredited places because there's a lot of fraud and counterfeit out there. But yeah, that was yesterday. I don't want to harp on that, but yeah, that's what we're talking about today.
Okay. Well, anybody else got anything to chime in on? Let me see. Let me look at my list. We was talking about the barriers in. What do you think about the ego as being a barrier?
That's a big problem.
Do you think a lot of times that you see that there are people who, because of and we was talking about that on one of the lives as well. You gave the example of the whole Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, when somebody suggests that they should work together, and then Barack Obama said, "Sure, I wouldn't mind working with Hillary, but who's going to be president?"
Yeah, but even in that same vein, you have your primaries. You figure out who's going to run as the president on the ticket. If she was willing to work with him, maybe he would have made her vice president. But since she probably wasn't, and her ego was so big, he went ahead with Biden. I don't know the whole back talk behind that, but you would think if Barack said that out loud, he was willing to work with her. But obviously, in turn, you would have to interpret that as she wasn't willing to work with him because of her ego. I don't know. Nobody really knows what happened in the back rooms. We can always try to estimate what happened. But I think as a whole, our community has a problem with working with each other. Everybody wants to be the head in charge. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. It's that crab in the barrel mentality. If I know something to get ahead, I'm not going to share with nobody else type of mentality. I'm going to help pull you up. Now, me and Frontier Financial, we come from a different cloth, especially in the military. Our mindset in the military is to train the ones behind you so the mission gets done whether you're there or not. So the mission gets completed. But in corporate America, it's your knowledge is your power. You're not training nobody to replace you, because that's essentially what you do when you give up too much information in corporate America. I like the industry I finally fell into before I semi-retired and went independent, which is insurance. And the reason I like this so much is because I can train minions or people like me, and they can do the work, and I'll take a percentage of their work as a commission for me training them to do their job. You get what I mean? So now I can build a whole bunch of me. So I can either get out there and get real aggressive myself and make my own money, or I can make a whole bunch of other people successful, but still get money at the same time. So I just divided myself out. I had over 350 agents. You think I was struggling? Aside from my own book of business. You get what I mean? But then the mental thing came in, the PTSD. Doesn't matter about money if your sanity isn't there.
Exactly.
I gave all that up. I turned all my business over to other people while I worked on myself.
Yeah, you need somebody. You need
a restart. Sometimes you have to kick in and do a restart.
Yeah, you needed somebody to play Pippen to your Jordan. A lot of times, nobody want to do that. Nobody wants to play Pippen to the Jordan. And sometimes that might be what you need to do.
Okay. Here's another question. Is the passport bro movement evolving into building in brotherhood overseas?
I would say BMT is an example of them trying to evolve, them being one of the leaders. And I'm talking about Aaron Ferris in that light. He since has now gotten married, has a child, living abroad with his Thai woman and his baby. Initially it was deemed to be a passport bro. You were only a monger. He's now dilated. There's different levels of that group now, to where you have the monger or pookie side of it, but you also have people that are general, people that want to go overseas. They want to start businesses, whether they get married or not, or they literally are going overseas to find a good woman and get married. And if he's the head, he's got to be the example of what? Transitioning.
Exactly.
And he's done that. So while I'm not a passport bro, I've been a veteran, and I've been traveling since I was 3, way before any of these dudes were even born. I've been traveling. I'd never fall in line. I'm not a follower that way. I've been a veteran. I've been a traveler way before that, so I'm not a joiner like that. But I encourage men to travel, to expand their horizons, to gain more knowledge, because I know every time I left the country and came back, I was much smarter and wiser for it, being exposed to those different cultures. But that's my answer. Go ahead.
It looks like Passport Bros needs a rebrand.
Right?
We need a catchy phrase to turn it around. You know what I mean? It needs a rebrand, because the concept, brothers getting passports to go to other countries to do what?
Well, I agree with you. And that's what I was saying in the beginning. When he first coined the term, it was to get away from the stress of the matrix, all of the problems that was going on that was causing a lot of these brothers to, as he was saying, have traumatic stress. Some of them was even deleting themselves. Some of them was, going through all of these problems with, relationships. So they were saying, okay, I need to take a step back and reset and recharge. Or I'm seeing that there are better opportunities and more affordable opportunities overseas. So that's what a lot of brothers started doing. I mean, it started out with the movie with Al Breeze with Frustrated, where he was, showing all of the brothers that was going to Brazil. And then, it escalated to the brothers going to the DR and Thailand and then Colombia. And now you see what's going on now. Because as soon as the younger, because most of the people that was traveling overseas that initiated the Passport Bro movement, they were in their 40s. They were a lot of us were, prior military, have already Ronin and 020 Financial Frontier. We were all in our 40s and 50s and have already done it. So all of like myself, all of this just was a catalyst to say, hey, I got a passport. Let me start to utilize my passport a little bit more, because I was, in the States, and I had my business going.
Cuzzo, not to cut you off.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
I can hear you.
What he asked you was, has Passport Bros grown into what it was expected to grow into? And I don't think he was hitting on the negative side of it. And I feel like it went over your head a little bit because you didn't want to respond negatively, but we know what he's talking about, bro.
Yeah, I was just trying to show that it was the YNs, the people, the people who were in their 20s and 30s who are brand new to the space and just started to see what else that, all of the negative things that was going on. And they started to indulge in that and also film it because, a lot of the brothers, we wasn't pulling out our phones and videotaping the stuff that we was doing. We know how to be discreet with that.
Nah. Of course you wasn't.
Yeah,
so
but,
that's what created the whole, that's what gave it the black eye. Everybody trying to, bring to light. And even, I can see why now Colombia and all of these places are wanting to, the gringos to leave, because they don't even want you to expose the underbelly of their society. That, that's not what they want to be known for.
Absolutely.
Well, you got to change your ways. If you don't want to be known for something, you got to change your ways. Do something different.
Should we not use the term passport, bro?
I mean, like I said, you can be a joiner all you want, but that's not going to change who you are. You can let anybody in the group. I mean, if you're going to call yourself part of a group, make it a strict way of getting into the group, so you're not embarrassing the group. But if you're just an individual, you're an individual. Anything under those terms. Yeah.
You know why I say that? Because what happens in these clubs where something happens or somebody gets shot, the club closes down for a few months and they name it something else.
But there's still a shooting months later.
Right.
There's still
a shooting, but that stamp is kind of gone because they named it something else.
But you're
under
still
new management.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Under new management type situation.
But I don't think BMP wants to change the name. I think he wants to hold on to the name because now the name has power behind it, and even YT people want to adopt it. They're trying to take it. Now, a brother, everybody knows a bro was not a slang back in California as a white guy. Okay. Bro meant brother. Okay. Now you got white Hispanic going to adopt that whole moniker of passport bro as well. The name has too much strength behind it just to let it go. It has to be clean.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, does anybody remember the show The Wire when they had the bad product? The product was really bad. People weren't buying it, and what's his name? Stringer. Yeah, he goes to his college professor and say, "Hey man, what if I got a bad product nobody's buying?" And he tells you, "Well, you got to rebrand." So he does that, but it was still the same crappy product. You know, they rebranded it, advertised it, but it was still the same. At the end of the day, crappy product. And the thing is, you could call the Passport Bros Blue Book Gentlemen or Passport Gents or whatever have you, but if you're going to have the same people, you know, come into that space, then it's just going to turn back into, you're not really doing
crappy
anything.
product.
You just changed the name.
Let me tell you really what happened. Nobody wanted to set a standard, and nobody wanted to be in control of it. Even though they wanted to copyright it and benefit off the name, nobody had any kind of standards to where they can hold other people accountable for misrepresentation.
Yeah.
Business. Now, you want to hold on to a name, you want to hold on to a brand, then you need to make sure your brand is protected. Meaning, if anybody shoots off at the mouth about your brand and misrepresents what it's really supposed to be, they should have been able to speak to the press, speak to whoever misspoke, and say, "I'm gonna hold you accountable or sue you." One of the two. You need to retract that statement. You need to retract that because that person is not part of my group. But see, nobody wanted to do that. They thought it was like some kind of a terrorist organization or something like that, where, you know, they'll cut the head off the snake and all of a sudden everything falls. Nah. If you
Did somebody copyright the name?
Yes, the name is copywritten, and that was a whole nother argument.
Because you know what happened with BLM, right?
Yeah.
Well, Black Lives Matter.
They blew themselves up. They blew themselves up internally. They the ones that started stealing the money and doing misrepresenting why they were taking the money. But I'm saying, in respect to Black Passport Bros, they let the name get out of hand, thinking that was good for the exposure. Yes, it was. But now it has a reputation, and now you're trying to put your hands around it. Now you got to fix all that bad reputation. You know, I've been in sales for almost 40 years. And what I used to do is when I took over something, they were like, "Well, you have all these ex clients." I said, "Oh, okay." He goes, "You're going to start over?" I said, "No, I'm going to go fix the relationships." So I would go in and see what those sales reps or whatever did not do that they were supposed to be doing that caused the client to be upset. And I repaired all those relationships. And I wound up being better and catching on fire faster than having to go and find a whole nother bucket of clients. Why? Because it was warm market. They just had bad representation. So you don't go throw the water out just to start over. What you do is you fix the reputation of the brand, and then you push forward.
Sometimes I think it's best just to just keep it
That's
a secret.
the easy way out, and a millennial would say that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, from a standpoint, you know, somebody else, you know, has said it before where, okay, it was older gentlemen going out doing their thing, wasn't doing no filming, wasn't really posting on social media, although social media wasn't really around. Everything was private. It was all blogs. You had to go out and find the information, you know, versus, okay, I'm going to get my passport. I'm going to talk trash about specifically Black women on the way out the door. I'm going to, you know, trash their name on the way out the door. I'm going to show this pretty woman here that I'm actually paying for, you know. And it, to me, you know, that I think, you know, is the issue. Like, you just can't advertise this stuff. Even if, let's just pretend. Yeah,
but Darnell, truthfully, was that a legitimate passport bro and your determination, or was that a Pookie masking themselves as a passport bro because they all associated themselves as being, if you Black, you're a passport bro? Again, like I said, now they're trying to steal the name that YT people and Latinos wanted. So it can't be that scarred that they feel like they can repair it. Why are we the first ones that want to throw something away after we did the work? You just need to fix it.
Right.
I mean, but if the foundation, it's like a house. If the foundation of the house is cracked,
there's nothing wrong with the foundation and the idea. It was the execution that was fucked up. The idea of it is great. The idea of brothers traveling and getting exposure to the globe and global politics and cultures and all that, becoming wiser and more appreciative of even the United States they choose not to leave, was great. It was the execution and non-representation that allowed it to jump off the rails.
Yeah, there's got to be some damage control, some type of damage control, yo.
Okay, yeah, I can see your point on that. Matter of fact, you kind of jogged my memory a little bit. What's his name?
Yeah, I know Black Man's Options tried to save it, and I know I know you brothers down there in Brazil. I know I got a brother that wants to pick a bone with y'all because y'all should have spoke up quicker, but yeah, I know y'all tried to jump on Aaron. I talked to Aaron too, like 4 or 5 years ago as well. I was in the mix with him and No Excuses, because that's the whole argument behind the name right now. That whole story, but I'm not going to bring that up. It's not my business to do that. They need to bring that up. But in the back, exactly what you're talking about.
All right, moving on, because we could talk about this forever.
Wait. O2O has something to say real quick.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna end it out with this is just my perspective of it. Like, Indians, nobody likes them here in Thailand. Nobody likes Israelis. I mean, they have their group. Those are people. People are people. They make stupid decisions. I don't think that really challenges me. I still go into a country and deal with relatively zero problems. But at the end of the day, that's just life. I'm not about to try to, rack my brain and use up tokens trying to fix the whole world. There's always going to be those people, and it's not nothing specific black. It's just a people issue. Because as I said, Indians definitely have that. Nobody's even thinking about you black people. They're thinking about Indians and Israelis. They got signs all over the country in certain particular areas that says no Israelis or no Indians. They don't have no sign saying no blacks. So I just say sometimes it gets blown out. We think we the only ones that do certain things. That's just because we ain't been around nobody else besides black people. And we think like, oh man, we the ones who do this. Everybody does the nonsense. And for me, I know that, and I just keep forward because I can't really do nothing. Those people are free. And most of those people don't even have the money to go traveling. So it's almost irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. There'll be more legitimate, well-pressed, well-behaved individuals than there will be the individuals that cause issues, at least especially for us. So I just keep moving forward.
Absolutely.
Okay. What industries do you think make the most sense abroad?
Can you elaborate the question?
In terms of what industries do you think would do lucrative business overseas?
Ooh, that's kind of general. I would have, more than likely some kind of, well, for one, who would be the targeted customers? Let me ask that.
I would say this: there's no one brand that we're not good at and we can't do. It's just a point of execution. Mm-hmm. You just got to execute it right. I mean, there's a successful brother right there where O2O is, Culture Restaurants. He's opened up his 3rd restaurant in Thailand with him and his wife. We're successful. We demonstrated we can be successful all over the globe. It has nothing to do. We're not locked into a certain brand. We don't have to just do sportswear. We don't have to just do this or cook or this, that, and the other. We're capable of doing so much. I don't think there's a specific brand we should be like cutting or zeroing in on. It's whatever you're best at. And we're best at a lot of things. We just got to apply and execute.
Well,
agreed.
Too, you have to also have a some kind of clientele. Like, for example, my battle buddy from Afghanistan, he opened up a fast food joint in Djibouti, first of its kind. There was no fast food joints in Djibouti. He opened up a wing spot. You guys can look it up, Joe's Wings. I think it's Joe's ATL Wings now, but the first location was in Djibouti. There was no wing spots. There was no McDonald's. There was nothing. If you wanted to, eat out, you know what I'm saying? You had to sit there and wait forever in a day for them to cook your food. Started out, I guess some guys they had a little poker party or whatever. They asked him to cater it, so he made some wings, some fries, and next thing you know, you got Joe's Wings, but you gotta have the demand. So, it's kind of like, just to test Gemini, for example, and I actually did this just to make sure it wasn't trying to give me encourage me to do something stupid. I was messing with Gemini saying, hey, I have a great idea for like this is just example purposes, but soggy bread business. Like if you try to make a soggy bread business, I mean, you're never going to have any customers. Who wants to buy soggy bread, right? Okay. You can't eat it. It's worthless.
And there's some uses for it. I'm sure there's a purpose. Where are
you going with the story, though? What is the point?
The point is, if there is no demand, your business is never going to make it.
Well, that's obvious.
Wouldn't say it's too obvious. I think like that's one way to deal with it. But I would say one thing is find a problem, come up with a solution, and then sell it. There you go. That's basically capitalism. Sometimes a situation where there is no demand. Nobody had demand for satellites in the sky to provide internet. Elon just provided it, and then the demand came from it. The demand was for more internet, but he sold it for something that nobody was asking and requesting in the market. As Steve Jobs famously said, customers don't know what they want until you give it to them. If it was up to them, they would have asked for a faster horse instead of a car. So at the end of the day, consumers, they really are not, like, you have to go out there, create value, invent, and then sell it and solve a problem. If you can do that, then the market will reward you handsomely. That's how it's done.
Specifically to the question, there is no one brand that you would say black men need to go out and capture. We're capable of doing whatever.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Of course. Well, I would say this.
I would say the time is now to do it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Else is complaining.
Yeah,
everybody else is like, oh, George Washington's the reason we're not doing good. Immigrants are the reason. It's because wokeism. They're like all worried about things that, one, they don't control, and two, are about human evolution. So they're not even prepped. They're not even prepared. I don't even like black people. I'll be like, yo, y'all missing the point. Asians are crushing it. You're worried about white folks. They're not really landsliding the map. Look at the map. Look at earned income. Look at net worth. It's all Asians that are killing the game in the United States of America. And guess what? Now white people are jealous of them. They're going to be jealous of you, whether you're the bottom or the top. I might as well be the top, goddammit. Because I'm going to be hated for whatever I do. That's just people. It's not a black thing. Go to Africa and build out one of the greatest companies. You think local Africans are going to support you? They're not. They're going to figure out a way how to take it. You're not their tribe. You're not from their place. It's just a human thing. It's not specifically African. Anybody will do that to you. So I'd rather live on the top than scrape on the bottom. I'm going to be hated either way. Like, They hate Indians down in Fresco, Texas, that don't break laws. They're all married with the same wife. They're all with children. They have the lowest criminality. They're not doing anything wrong, but they hate them because they win it. You're going to be hated, period. So just go out there and win.
Hey, Ronan, didn't you and Fearless do a story on that? Or
Absolutely.
episode on that?
Yeah, they did a live stream about it.
But that's the whole thing. You got YT, good old boy network down there, and you got these Indians that show up on these visas, and they're taking over the town as far as, no, they're not really taking over the town. They just have a certain amount of blocks close to their residence, and they decided to open up businesses catered towards their people. And of course, the YG good old boy network don't like that shit.
And that's anybody. I don't even want, we don't have to make it out a white thing. That's just a human thing. Humans are gonna hate. Right. I think we always gotta target, like, all we see is white. It's just people are gonna do that. Don't act like in your neighborhood people weren't hating on Nipsey Hussle and what he was doing. Had nothing to do with white folks. It just had to do with people being people. And so you have to guard yourself, guard your grill and protect yourself at all times, like they say in boxing. That's what you must do regardless of the situation. And it goes back to the covenant and what you guys said. It's about who is like-minded. Not the color of your skin, but the content of your character. And you have to make those decisions in order to protect yourself at all times.
Yeah, I was about to say, to piggyback on what you all were saying, and also with Darnell, he brought up The Wire. You know, a long time ago, you know, being in Boston, and we would always go to New York because New York was the fashion capital of the world, or, that's where hip hop came from. So in order to stay ahead of the styles in Boston, we would always go to New York to be able to get the stuff before it was brought back to Boston, and we would be behind or we would be late. So to stay here, that's an opportunity for us overseas, because everybody always says, oh, we live, these is third world countries, which they're not. They're developing countries. But since our country is already developed, this is an opportunity for us to be able to take our knowledge and our skills and our tools and bring it overseas. And Coach Lou touched on this earlier. When they didn't have a swim team here, and he was one of the first people to, start bringing, the diving team and the swimming culture here to Panama. So there are plenty of things where, okay, they don't have it here. Instead of you complaining about they don't have it here and this is not why you're coming here, you could be the first one to bring it here and establish it. And then you'll just be able to rise with the tide when it becomes popular.
That's a good point. When I realized they didn't have a dive team, but they had diving facilities, I said, I have got no competition. I'm the only coach in town. So, yeah, you got to look at your opportunities.
I've always been the sort, and this is before DEI and equal employment. And Coach, I'm sure in Black Cleaner, and I'm sure, whoa, you're old enough. There wasn't none of that. You just had to be better. And of course, the person that hired you had to see the greed of, if they hired you, how much more money you would bring to the corporation and how good they would look for hiring you. That's all you had to be. You just had to be better. Now, because of your skin tone, you had to be 5 to 10 times better, because they still had that good old boy network that you had to beat out to. So we just had to be better. We just had to be more aggressive, and we had to be point blank focused on what we wanted. You can't be scatterbrained and do these things. You got to be very focused and mindful on the direction you're trying to take and what you're trying to do.
And if you bring anybody else in, they got to be the same way.
Yep.
Back.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, Ronan. And this kind of reminds me of something you used to say all the time. Your job as an NCO when you was in the Marine Corps was to train younger Marines to do your job, to take over your job. One of the things I notice in today's workplace is supervisors, they don't do that anymore. It's like
job security.
Yeah, job security. And then instead of you working on yourself and becoming the best employee you can be, it's like they try to tear others down to make themselves, to build themselves up. So if they break the other guy down, make him look worse than what you are, then it's like, I think the workplace has changed quite a bit now, from back in the day. It's just not that same level of dedication to your craft anymore.
I was always of the mindset, once I learned from corporate America, I went out and instead of letting them take advantage of me, I stood on my own 2 feet. I went independent after about a year or two of working under certain insurance agencies just to learn the ropes. The minute I got a grasp on everything and knew I could run things on my own, I don't need nobody to take a percentage of my commission just because they have the name and I'm doing the effort. I want 100% of my effort. That's what you guys are trading off. You're trading off your effort and time for money. Now, once you catch a hold of it and you say you're so good, then go be so good standing on your own 2 feet. Stop working under somebody else to get a guaranteed paycheck because you're too scared to jump out there on your own. And you're going to make so much more money so much faster if you have that mindset than saying, how quickly can I get promoted? Learn the system and go work your own company. Don't grow somebody else's wealth. Grow your own.
I would like to add to that, because what you just said, there's nothing wrong with it. No lies told, my brother. But what I would also add is just a slight revision of those who decide to stay to 9 to 5. Your problem ain't your 9 to 5. Your problem is how you allocate the capital that the 9 to 5 gives you. I got so many people that I mentor, and they sit up there and complain about a 5% raise when they're leaving 20 to 30% of their money on the table by not house hacking, by not investing in a 401k, by not doing things that are required of them of their current station, their current position, that if they change, they'll get $30 to $40 to $50,000 in additional wealth or earn income. So getting financially literate, being better at what you're already doing helps also, because it don't matter. You could go be an entrepreneur, but if you're still bad with personal financing and investing, you'll be a broke entrepreneur. Surprise,
that ain't no lie. Ding, ding,
that
ding.
ain't no lies. And there's no minimum wage for entrepreneurship. So there's no way that it's against the law for somebody to underpay you as an entrepreneur. Now, if you don't make money, you don't make money. You could even lose it. But in that term of being an employee, at least you're guaranteed a minimum. And that's the difference. So you trade that reduced risk profile, but you cap your upside. The other way is an entrepreneur, there's no cap on the upside. So you can make how much you want, right? Or there's a risk you can lose how much ever happens. So there's always this pros and cons. You could do great in both. You just have to start tapping into your financial literacy, because whether you're an entrepreneur or not, that is necessary for both of those individuals to understand that. And I think if we start telling people that more, then they can make more better plays and strategies. Some won't. They'll just choose whatever they choose. But net, they need to hear that, because it's not all doom and gloom because you work 9 to 5. I got rich. I got extremely wealthy, the top 1%, only working for other people.
Yeah, believe it or not, I believe it was the book Millionaire Next Door. It'll tell you the most millionaires, occupation-wise, is actually a school teacher. A lot of people don't know that. You know, it's not that
teachers,
school.
just common people, bro. Common people with common shit.
people. Yeah.
And that's the big difference. And corporations actually help those teachers become rich, because they didn't do nothing. All they did was invest in the S&P 500. So at the end of the day, it all comes back to each other, but you don't know how the structure works. So now you're mad at the corporation or mad at an entrepreneur. And it's like, instead of just figuring out, okay, how do I make it for myself, make it work, let me learn, like I always famously try to say, is don't hate the player, learn the goddamn game. You can get way farther by doing that.
Facts. I like that. Someone want to read that comment?
He said, when I first got in the oil field, I had to be better. The good old boy network in full effect, especially in Texas. Me and a lot of brothers had to do what most didn't, and over time we won in the long run. You're absolutely right. Play with a Passport runs a crew. I guess he owns the company for oil rig, oil drilling. So he's running crew.
I want to say something to that. Shout out to Player for overcoming that situation, but that's going to happen anyway. You think you're going to freaking come to Thailand or go anywhere else, and the local competition ain't going to favor the local competition over the away home player? That happens to everybody. So it's not the good old boy network. It's just a good old network of human people. So they're going to do that to you regardless. You come over here to Thailand. I know a guy who runs a business, and he does some like little betting on fish. Like, anyways, it's some betting at the restaurant. He has to pay $20,000 a year to the police. But the Thai guy, he only got to pay like $500 a month. Geez. So imagine that. It's harder for him to keep his business standing because he got this big black market tax on him, while the local guy, bare minimum, not much. But that's what people just do. So it's not even like, hey, anywhere you go, you're going to face the same discrepancies. The guy from Culture faced the same type of stuff if you ever listen to one of his one-on-ones that run the Soul Food Network out here in Thailand. He said, yeah, that's shit. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to open up the door. Yeah, come to our country, build up millions, and we just gonna watch you win while we lose. Heck nah. They're gonna try to make a fake culture. They're gonna try to do soul food, but it ain't gonna have a soul in it. So at the end of the day,
ain't gonna have no
just
soul
keep
in
doing it. Nah, it ain't gonna have, it'll be soulless food. So they're gonna try to put it up there. They making your yams with the purple yams from Japan. That ain't the same. I need the ones from America.
The orange ones, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what's the reason I laughed at you, 020, in Dallas, there's a place called Soul Man's Barbecue. There ain't a brother in that joint.
Soulless Man Barbecue.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Soulless Man Barbecue.
Yeah, Soulless Man's Barbecue. My mom, boy, she used to get so damn mad. She was like, I want to go and tear that damn sign down. Ain't no damn Soul Man's Barbecue. This shit just made me laugh.
They should have a picture of Freddy Krueger as their mascot, their poster child.
But like 020 said, there's a lot of struggles even overseas trying to run a business. It's sad that we can't do it in our own country that efficiently or that effectively for whatever reason that they have some kind of a stopgap for them to be successful here in America. But I mean, it's great for them, but you can see he brought up a situation where a brother's getting taxed, skin taxed, above and beyond what most people would have to do. That's the other thing you have to worry about when you start businesses overseas is you literally have to be a silent partner to some of these businesses so they don't know.
Which brings me to my next question. Which countries offer the best opportunities for business and building? Anyone want to take it?
020's been in a lot of countries and run a lot of different organizations from those countries, so I'd have to ask him. I don't know.
The best? Woo, that's a hard one, Black Clater.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say America. But it's hard because a lot of countries, I'm not hating on them. It's their country. They can do whatever the hell they want, right? But at the end of the day, they still have their restrictions, limitations. You know, Ronan was just talking about joint ownership. They're cutting down even on that. People are getting arrested here and getting deported left and right for nominal ownership. When you got somebody who really runs the day-to-day operations, and on paper, he's got 49, but in real life, he's really 51 or 70, and the tie is just a little, you know what I'm saying? Just a shadow front man. They break that up, regardless if it's per the rules in the gray area. They're taking people, yanking them out, confiscating land, contracts, leases, fines, jail time. Like it's hard because all countries have those biased policies in favor of the locals over anybody that's a foreigner. Not saying it's impossible, but it's going to be hard. Remember, the goddamn Saudi Aramco, that oil refinery was built up by Europeans legitimately. But over the years, they were just like, hey, guess what? We taking it back. Do something about it. It's our country. And then over a while, investors said, whatever. We got our return on investment. Let them have it. They could just do that eventually. And I'm just saying, that's something you have to acknowledge. Doesn't mean you still can't get your return on investment. So I say the best way to help is look for the countries that allow foreigners to own land. Because that's kind of like an indicator of something that's always coveted and protected, right? So if you could at least buy land as a foreigner in a country, you could usually buy a business, 100% ownership. There'll be less hurdles and limitations on your upward mobility because that country already has policies where it's like, you know, come first, come serve. We don't really discriminate based off of nationality. So that's a good indicator, but you still have to look at what's the rules in the industry you're in, because they protect industries too. Banking, telecommunications, those are very coveted, right? But other industries like, you know, a restaurant, they're going to let you ride out. But you have to look at it and be ready for the laws to pivot. Don't be mad, be able to adapt and understand going in that things can change and they could revise. And you have to be prepared for that. Have an exit strategy.
I would add to that just a little bit more is there's always Pandora's box. Once you open that box, you will never close it. If you have to start greasing hands and paying things under the table, it will never get away from you. Once they know you are willing to pay above board, they will continue to bleed you the whole time you're there. You will not get from underneath that. Go ahead.
We was talking about that early.
Yeah, I mean, Thailand had that big, whole marijuana's legal out here. So a lot of people came out here like it was the gold rush. And then, of course, things changed and it developed for particular reasons. But because, some people weren't getting greased, like Richard just talked about. So they was like, if we make it illegal, you can keep doing it, but you got to grease us now. So anyways, things changed. But those people who built legitimate businesses out, now they're dealing with trying to exit. And so you just got to go in. One guy, he was the actual brother. He came out here to do that. He sold it. But one of the things he did smartly was his storefront was really plain, it wasn't much that he invested, because he was like, look, if the rules ever change, I'm not going to invest in, having a coffee shop and design and interior design. And now when the jig is up, I got to get so much money back in order to get all the money I poured into the business. He kept it a low initial investment. So by the time they changed the laws, he was like, bro, I already made my return. I'm good if they change the law. So these are some ways where you could just keep those ideas in mind, and that's how you build out your plan of execution and then your exit. He had a great exit strategy. So even though the laws changed, not in his favor, he already received his return on investment within his window because his small initial investment. So that was a smart brother.
And just like in America, there's always a chance of them snatching things from you, eminent domain, you back taxes, all these things. They'll do it in another country.
Airbnb.
You ain't nobody special. In another country, they'll take it just as quick.
Bans on Airbnb, like all that stuff is always evolving and shifting. So I would just say, just do your due diligence and then try to find a lawyer who tells you no more than yes. If you sit down with a lawyer and he's telling you like, yeah, you could do this, you could do that, then that's probably wrong. I seen one guy in Thailand, he was saying no to basically everything. I was like, let me hire him before I do some business. And then he looked at me and he said, no, that's dumb. No, don't do that. So he was honest versus just signing me up so I can go ahead and do business with him so he can get paid. So always just find those lawyers, find those people, do your own due diligence, and then have that exit strategy, because risks come with everything. I'm not saying don't go overseas and don't do nothing. Just build out a plan with the exit in mind.
Exactly. I like that. That was one of the main things that my family told me was you always got to have your exit strategy before you do anything. How you go? Because if you don't,
people don't think about that.
Exactly, because you could paint yourself into a corner if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's kind of like just like YouTube, right? Like you build out a channel and you don't keep the end in mind and the exit. Next thing you know, you blow up. And then you're like, oh, snap, I got to go back and fix videos. I got to change my image or direction here and there. Because, again, you built it and then it's no fault of you. It's not a big deal. You can change. But net, you didn't have the exit in mind. You didn't know that it would, be what it is one day. And you're like, oh, my gosh, now I got to change before I get demonetized or, get flagged or whatever the case may be. So just keep that in mind.
Yep, exactly. Okay. Keeping it along. Let me see. There was one person that was in the chat who wanted to come on board. His name was Buck. Is that one of yours, Ronan?
Buck Travel is known throughout the travel space. He can say some good things, but he keeps it clean at least. Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right. Well, shout out to you. Thanks again, Brother Lewis, for coming up.
Oh, right on, bro. I'll come in on the next one.
All right. Most definitely. Love having you. We here every Monday starting at 8 p.m.
Right on. Thanks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fellas. Have a good one.
Hey, it was a pleasure.
Peace out, brother.
Especially knowing you from Louisiana, your people.
Right on. Take it easy.
All right, now.
Yes. This is Real Talk with Nate the Black Cleaner. Thank you, people, for chiming in. Like and subscribe.
Okay.
Cool Key. I want to do a little spot like that. Every once in a while, I'll play it during my live. I'm biting your shit. I'm telling you now.
Oh, you biting my shit?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna go ahead and steal that one. I'm gonna do a PSA, a little announcement, plays in between the show, just like
It's
that.
all good. As long as you let them know who did it first. It's all good, baby. It's all good. You know.
All right, Unfriendly Stoic, welcome to the stage. How's everything?
Greetings. You guys can hear me well?
Yep, we can hear you.
Cool. I was gonna say about the Thailand thing. You could American citizens can own 100% of a company.
You're fading out.
Did you step away from your phone or whatever?
Now I'm using these Bluetooth headsets.
You're gonna have to. Yeah, because we hear the echo. We can hear more of the echo of the room versus hearing your voice clearly. You might have to.
Turn your volume down, yo. Turn your volume down. Like at least bring it down to halfway.
The volume. Let me try that. Let's see. How about now? Is that better?
Yeah, it's more clearly.
Okay, I see this. All right. So I was gonna say, the U.S. has like some type of amnesty agreement with Thailand that you can own 100% of your business out there. So you don't need, if you're an American citizen, you don't need a Thai partner to open a business.
When did that happen? Hey, Black Cleaner, can you turn the background music down just a touch?
Sure.
That happened. I'm not sure, but it's been in effect for some time. Thailand.
Yeah, that's accurate. That's accurate. But unfriendly stoic. Most people don't peep that. I be trying to tell them, but it be extra paperwork and they don't be doing it. Plus, one of the big things is lawyers don't even know, bruv. Like, it's really bad. Like, the lawyers don't even be knowing. They're like, no, you have to do 49. And that 49 and 51 is only for protected industries. Then what you're talking about is even underneath those protected industries, you can get a BOI and get that done. But for most industries, like a burger joint, they don't have to have that split. But, nobody's aware of it. It happened slightly during COVID. They were trying to bring some money in and foreign direct investment back into the country, obviously, after the issues.
I know, too, if you're trying to do a tech startup, if you go through the BOI, you don't need the same capital requirements. I think you need like 2 million baht, generally speaking, right? And then you gotta hire one for every one foreigner. You do like 4 times or whatever. They don't have that.
Got that one.
If you do it, so like I was looking into something called a Smart S visa, right? And you basically can set up. This is specifically for like tech startups. So if you're trying to do like some type of like mobile application or something like that, right? If you go through the BOI or the BOI, their smart visa like scheme that they have there, you don't need to have the you need, instead of 2 million baht, you need about 600,000 baht, which is like $16,000 or whatever, opposed to 60 grand. You know what I mean? And then you don't need to hire Thais. They expect you at some point, but it's not like a hard requirement in the beginning like it is going through the regular route. So that might be an option if you're trying to. And then with the Smart S visa, you get 2 years renewable. So long as that business is open, you can keep renewing for every 2 years or whatnot. Yeah, so those are a couple options in Thailand. You guys want to look at the Smart S visa.
One thing, Black Cleaner, you kind of said this too, Black Cleaner, earlier. It was one thing that you could legitimately do in a lot of countries, but let's give an example of Thailand because I'm here. But if I had to open up a business, it'd be an escrow company. I don't know if most people know what an escrow is. It's just like the middleman for a real estate transaction. And basically, they don't have that here in Thailand, bruv. So legitimately, when you sign over a house.
Are you kidding me? Really? Wow. That's a huge business, too.
That's a huge business, right? So now you watch this. Y'all both go to the notary. You got to schedule the right time, the right date, and etc. Then you there with your phone with the bank, like he there with the pen, and then the auditor's there, the notary, the official government man. And then it's like, sign the letter and I'm gonna make the call. And then so y'all got to do it like at the exact moment you transfer the money over, he's signing at the same time right in front of the government official. Versus, as we know in America, you could be virtual at home, right? And you could just do a sign in, you sign your docs, but all of the paper that's needed for the transaction goes to a middleman. And that middleman, once all the boxes are checked, they distribute out the keys to the new buyer and then the money to the seller, etc. So that would be a great business. And that's something that most Thai people, again, you come from a developed country into the developing country so you could help the developing country, create more products that are copy and paste. You just have to alter them a bit for the local economy. It can't be the exact duplicate of whatever happened in America, but there's some small alterations. The guy did that for a company like Zillow. He literally copied Zillow and then ran it over here in Thailand. And it's the largest brokerage platform in all of Thailand. If you sign on to the website, it looks just like Zillow. But prior to that, it was a bunch of markets with different real estates with their own websites. It wasn't one marketplace with all rentals and all sales like we know Zillow of today. So he did that, sold the data back to developers. It was crazy. He just stole the idea, basically. Or let me say, imported.
Where in Thailand are you?
Me? I'm in Pattaya, the one and only Vice City.
Okay,
Pattaya, Vice City. Go ahead.
I used to live in Bangkok, but I've been bouncing back between Vietnam and Cambodia as of recently. So like right now I'm in Phnom Penh. Well, I'll be in Thailand. Phnom Penh, in Cambodia.
In Cambodia. Okay, got you. Is it true? Is Cambodia got the racially ambiguous big booty? No, I'm just kidding. How is Cambodia?
The fact that you brought that up, the MLS in America, they don't have that in the Philippines. People can ask for whatever the hell they want. Same thing with cars. They can pull that shit out their ass. It don't matter how old the car is.
Kelly book.
Because you got to have input fees in order to buy a brand new car and have it shipped to some of these islands. They don't have car lots. So cars hold their value and even stay up around the same price depending on how the cars look. Same thing with a house. That's why I would never buy a house here. There's no fucking way. I'm in the house right now. The guy is like, would you sell? Would you buy? The hell no, I don't want to buy your house.
Well, Ronan, it sounds like you got a good idea.
You got idea for a business. No, it's a good idea, but you got to have people that want to participate in it. And ain't no Filipino gonna have 13 people on a damn deed want you to dictate how much they want to sell their land for. They ain't up with that.
Well, I mean,
and you got to get all 13 people. The whole thing is you got to get all 13 people to agree. That's the other part of this. Some family members will try to sell from underneath some of the other family members. There's so many verification processes going on here about land and who owns it really, because it's one parent might have bought the house. They had 13 kids, all of them on the title. You might get 7 to agree to sell and the other ones don't. Now what you going to do? Somebody going to get sneaky and have all the other signatures on the paper signed like it was legitimate. You go and buy it. Then all of a sudden on the back end, one of the kids realized you sold that land. I didn't authorize that. You got a whole nother fucking problem.
Oh shit. Not to change the subject, but to all the basketball fans in the sports world, this OKC game is in double overtime right now. It's crazy. 111, 108 Spurs. 3 minutes left in double overtime.
Wow. What's the score?
111, 108 San Antonio.
Damn.
Okay. There's a comment for Financial Frontier. You got someone who wants to get your business information. You on Instagram? You want to shout out your Instagram or any of your contact info?
Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel. Oh wait, you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel. You can go there and then it'll be Instagram and boom. Or X.
To speak to
but
one
it
of the
gotta
points
be about money.
Gotta be about money.
You were saying that you should tap into a location where they allow you to buy land. One thing that's interesting about Cambodia is that you can get citizenship here. Like it's like one of the few countries out here that technically you can get citizenship in Thailand as well, but you can get citizenship through investment out here. They got this thing called the Cambodia My Second Home visa, similar to the Malaysian one, but the only difference is this one leads to citizenship. And you make like $100,000 investment plus a $50,000 donation to the government, and you get a 10-year renewable visa, but you get citizenship after 5 years. So you can apply for citizenship after 5 years, and that gives you the ability to do everything a Cambodian, include own land. So I think that's one thing that's interesting about Cambodia. You could go through a process to get citizenship in Thailand, but it's gonna take you.
You can never own land.
You can own land. You can own land in Thailand if you're a citizen. It just takes like 10 years to get it. Because you gotta. So how it works is you gotta apply for a PR. And that takes 3 years. You gotta pay taxes. You gotta make a minimum income of 100,000 baht a month. Pay taxes on that 100,000 baht. And then you do that for 3 years, and you live there for most of the year. Then you can apply for permanent residence. After that permanent residence application will take about a year to go through. So you're really talking like 4 years or whatever. Right? Then after that, you get 5 years of permanent residency. Then you can apply for citizenship, and then it'll take about another year after the application to get the citizenship. So in total, about 10 years. You go through that process. Now you could fast track that if you get married to a local Thai, and then that will shave some years off. Because then you could skip the PR process and just go straight into the like a little. I believe it's like 2 to 3 years wait once you get married to get. Don't quote me on that one because I wasn't planning on getting married. So I focused more on the route that didn't require marriage. But I know some guys that got Thai citizenship through marriage, and it was a lot quicker for them.
Yeah, I definitely looked at the Cambodia one before, like legitimately talking to the people, the representatives that run it. But the only issue, and it's not an issue like never could be done. At that time, it's new. And so they were still trying to chart out like, hey, what does this mean as far as your contribution? Yes, the money's there and that amount is stated. That's why I liked it over a place like Turkey or other places I was looking at. But that was one of the downsides was they were like, hey, look, it's really still speculative. So even after you invest X amount, there's still, like something, the determination is subjective, not objective. It's not like, hey, that's the money. Okay, you get it. It's, hey, okay, you invested, but what is your contribution to Cambodia? Yeah. And that's more subjective to them. So that's but she said they were going to fix it. That's just where it was at that point.
Yeah, right now, the first few people, because the program started in 2022, so you're starting to see those people that applied early on when the program first came out, they're starting to get their citizenship now. So I think this is like, next year, I should say, you get to see how well the program worked out. Because you'll see people getting their citizenships and whatnot. And then I think
4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Then you still have to see what was the decision. Because again, that subjective or that subjective opinion of the government saying your contribution to Cambodia. That's very again.
Meaning they want an annual income that they can tax. Basically, is what you're saying in the roundabout way.
No, they legitimately said it's just subjective. Like they have to make a determination on everything that they given.
I don't
is it a net
positive?
Like
I don't think it's like that because
I went there. I'm telling you, but it could change. She said it was getting better.
Yeah, before, right? You could just buy citizenship there. And technically, you still can, but it raised the cost so much that the barrier for entry is
Yeah, I heard that
That's
50K,
great.
100K.
That's great. You could
I
do
heard
that
that
anywhere. You could buy
150K
it in
outlay.
Thailand.
Yeah, I heard that 150K outlay in USD. That's definitely buying a visa.
Yeah, that's great. That's corruption. So you're basically saying I
no.
can corruptly buy
That's
citizenship.
what
That's what it is.
that the 100K has to go to some type of investment, right? So it could be a property or a business.
Of course,
And then
they're
the
not
50K
saying it outright that they're taking it as you're buying
they
your.
do say that,
They're
though.
trying to
They
make
do
it look
say that.
legitimate. Yeah.
No. What I'm saying is that you're buying. It's kind of like the Portugal Golden Visa, where you invest or make a donation, and then after a certain period of time, 7 to 10 years now, it could be 5 years. You
5.
guarantee.
But yeah.
No, they changed it last year. It's 10 years now.
Okay.
It's 7 years if you come from a Portuguese speaking country like Brazil or what's it?
So you see
South
what I'm
America,
talking about?
say?
It just changes. One second it was 5. Next minute it was you had.
Well, if you got in before they made the
changing.
change, then it's grandfathered in.
Which country were we talking about right now?
Nah, not accurate.
He's
That's what I'm just
Portuguese.
saying. It's all over the place. It doesn't matter.
He said
It's all over the
Portuguese
place.
speaking countries.
Yeah.
Okay, so
No, he was talking about
Yes.
Portugal.
if you wanna, they got a golden visa program, right, in Portugal, where it used to be 5 years, where you made either a donation of like 250,000 euros, or you invested 500,000 euros. Right?
Damn.
One of the
Man,
two,
we get
right?
so much up for free in America. People don't have to come in with a damn penny and get in the United States.
Don't
But we
worry.
gotta
Bro.
give
Don't worry. Those programs suck because the locals hate you too. So you go over there, you spend the money, they don't care.
You
They
spend the
hate
money,
you.
right? That's
why
what I'm
they don't have
saying.
tax.
You're buying your way into a country by showing that you are a viable person, and they still treat you like shit.
So, well,
They
yeah.
still took away the tax incentive, so it was like
Once you
bullshit.
put that money in, right, you get a 10-year visa. But after 5 years, I think it's a 5-year visa. After 5 years, you can apply for citizenship, or you can just renew it. But they've extended that wait period to 10 years now, unless you come from a Portuguese-speaking country like Angola, Mozambique, Brazil, those countries that were like colonized by Portugal, type shit, right?
And y'all
So
say
now-
Donald Trump is fucking mean.
Right.
I'm listening to all this shit, and y'all saying Donald Trump is mean for building a wall and putting restrictions on immigration.
Let's run to Portugal. Let's run to Portugal too while we at it. Let's go to Portugal.
They can come in
to colonize
our services, our healthcare, and all these other things, and get benefits. And yet, still, we gotta buy our ways into these countries. We don't get access to any of their benefits or anything like that. We still have to pay for those things outside of that.
And then look, if you were colonized by us, you don't have to wait. You only have to wait 7 years. We colonized you, so only sit down and wait 7 years instead of 10 like the rest of them. Thank you and you're welcome. This is what I'm saying. That's why I say, like, the shit we say in America, we have not. No, that's how it is, Darnell. This is what I'm saying. We never traveled. We never been nowhere. Like, what the hell? I remember there was this one guy from Portugal talking about American racism. I'm like, bro, you colonized Brazil. How far back are blacks in Brazil? It's the largest demographic of blacks on the planet. None of them are millionaires. None of them are billionaires. They all live mostly in favelas. The majority. It's bad over there. And you talking about America, and you come from Portugal. The Portuguese.
Always trying to kick these immigrants out. God damn, are you serious?
The U.S. offers programs.
And if we colonize you, you can wait 7 years to get a citizenship. You're welcome. We're so benevolent.
And meanwhile, you can get a citizenship within 3 years, a green card at least in America within 3 years.
Yeah, but those are not like good equivalents.
You don't have to bring the penny in.
You can naturalize in Portugal the same way you can naturalize in the States. But if you want to buy citizenship in America, it's like $5 million under Trump's administration, right? And then you can get the what's it called? It's like the E2 visa or something. It's like $100 grand. you can get access.
But which one do we have where we say if we colonized you, you could get a citizenship in America after 7 years? Which one does that?
Well, I mean, it's still cheaper. It's still cheaper than paying $5 million to get U.S. citizenship. So if we're gonna compare apples to apples, you got to compare the citizenship by investment program that the U.S. has in place.
Well, hold on. Last time I checked, when we colonized folks and we jumped them, we said, "Hey, here's some reservations." But the other people said, "Hey, you can get a citizenship one day after 7 years."
If you come,
don't forget the casinos.
If you come from one of those
they got casinos. At least they got casinos.
Yeah, but that's a false equivalent because you're not comparing. Because like let's say I'm from Brazil, right? I can move to Portugal a lot easier than many other citizens, right, from other countries. Get a job there and naturalize. This is specifically for people that have money that want to invest and kind of buy their way in. Because the real benefit of the golden visa.
But see, the rule is you have to invest in their country. We don't allow
hold on.
Invest in our country or not.
Let me land my plane. The golden visa allows you to not be in the country. So meaning, all you got to do is spend, I believe it's 7 to 14 days a year in Portugal to maintain your residency status. So from there, after the 7 to 10 years or whatever, right, you'll get the Portuguese citizenship, which will allow you access to all European Union states and the different countries that partner with the EU, like Switzerland, Norway, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of benefits with that. You can work, live in any of these countries. You can send your kids to school there. But that's a whole different thing, though. That's CBI, the Citizenship by Investment. Now we talk about naturalizing in the States or naturalizing in Portugal. It's pretty much the same thing. Usually, you get some type of residency status, you get employment, and then you live there for several years. They have their own green card equivalency, and after a couple of years, you can get citizenship. But then you got to live there most of the year, right? So we can't compare citizenship by investment.
I'm just saying we got that too. We just don't require you to be a former colony of ours. That's all I'm saying. But we're the bad.
No, you don't. No, if you're a former colony, then the time frame is less. When you think about it,
it's still a time frame. You keep missing the wave. I don't care if it's 8 days. That's a pro.
Even if there's a time frame, right? You could buy a green card.
Look, now he's justifying. Hey man, well you got to be colonized, and it makes sense. Defend the colonizers, please.
I'm trying to debate from a standpoint that makes sense. I think we're overlooking what's actually matters. The time frame is the time frame that they put on it, but the real thing is, if you look at the equivalent of what the U.S. has, it's far more expensive.
It's far more what? I'm sorry. Expensive?
Expensive. Yeah, it's $5 million. I mean, you could go to
hold on. I'd rather pay $5 million than get colonized, but that's just me. Maybe getting colonized is cheaper. You're right. Maybe it'll just cost me my language, my land, my religion, but it's cheaper.
Right.
$5 million is a lot.
That's not even. What is that? Those countries are colonized, decades and hundreds of years ago.
So now the time frame matters. All right, cool. Hey, it was 20 years ago. I don't want to hear it.
All right. Let me ask you, what's your point? That's what I don't understand.
I'm just saying what you're saying. Hey, it don't matter what time frame it is with the colonization. It happened so long ago, right?
No,
I only need to wait 1 year, right?
Hold on.
I'd rather pay colonization is cheaper than $5 million. I'd rather get colonized than pay $5 million.
You're zeroing in on one particular detail about the Portugal golden visa program.
Just one little small minute detail that people was obliterated in genocide. Just one little small detail. You're right about that.
The conversation wasn't about that. The conversations were you guys were talking about. You guys were comparing. Originally, what we were talking about was land ownership, right? And we were talking about how if you get Cambodian citizenship, you can get land ownership, and there's a pathway through their My Second Home visa programs that allows you to get citizenship. And I also talked about the citizenship path that you could take in Thailand in order to get citizenship there and on land. Then I was comparing that to the Portugal investment golden visa scheme. So the original conversation was just about how you can own land in these countries and how you can get citizenship in these countries. That whole piece about like colonization had nothing really to do with the basis of the conversation. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good way to derail the conversation away from what the actual point of the conversation was about. And that's kind of what I was trying to say. Like if we could focus on like what we're, and then Ronan kind of compared, because I guess the citizenship thing or the birthright citizenship thing is a big topic of debate nowadays within amongst U.S. citizens, because people are coming to America and having babies and they get automatic citizenship, and that's something that's only allowed in about 34 countries or not.
Brazil, I didn't know on whether it's by blood or by
that's a point of contention for many people, and I can understand that. But I try to take the emotion out of the debate and focus more on like the primary point of what we're talking about, right? But as far as that, you got to. Well,
it's not even an emotional. It's not even an emotional thing, really. Unfriendly. It's about how we're perceived as always being wrong as far as Americans when we lock down our requirements for you entering our country, where all these other countries already had these standards and enforce them 100% all the time.
I do think that we're, especially like in New York, they was shipping these guys that were coming over the border from Texas to New York, and it was crazy, like you know what I mean, like. But as far as like
the governor shipped all the immigrants in from Texas all directly to New York. What do they call them? Sanctuary cities.
Yeah, I've seen that, man, and so I seen the firsthand effects of it. Being
here's the thing: a lot of these rules have loopholes, and what Donald Trump is doing, which I do approve, is he's closing the loopholes and all the gaps that people were taking advantage of. There used to be systems where people were flying Russian women over here just to stay in a hotel until they had babies, so that they can have both the Russian and American citizenship. All countries were doing that.
I blame the American State Department, man. I think they're corrupt.
I don't even know if it was true. I saw even in Bruce Lee's situation, he had a birth certificate. It was basically American. His mom came over and had him and went back.
That's the thing they were doing in China, like wealthy Chinese. They would go have babies in America and go back to China.
Exactly. We can't do that to them. We can't do that to them.
Yeah, we're having issues with it's not Russian women, but Phoenix is.
What I'm saying is the immigration policies had so many holes in it. People were basically leveraging it against us in order to take advantage of the system. So when all those gaps started getting closed, all of a sudden the government looks like they're being assholes to the global community when these are known exploited holes that they were taking advantage of. And then utilizing our system, our tax dollars for people that weren't necessarily taxpayers. That's the problem.
What's the solution to this problem?
To me, the best solution is limit how many people can actually immigrate into the country per year and make sure they go through a stringent requirement that if they're coming here for legitimate reasons and they're going to be loyal to the country. You got so many immigrants in here that still aren't even loyal to the United States. They still flying flags and got their own principles. You had a whole senator but literally walk into the house or whatever in an Israeli uniform. Come on now, where's your loyalty at? You got Somalis that are in the government. You got all kind of people that are in the government are loyal to their countries first, not the United States. But you're claiming to be a citizen of the United States? Nah. You're here. You might have been born here, first generation, but you still loyal to your homeland, not the United States. What is the first part of you committing to the United States? swearing loyalty to the country.
All right, my question, don't they have some type of quota system already? I know.
Nope.
Yes,
the work
there is a quota system.
Is it being followed is the question. Was it?
But that's where I'm saying what I would do as far as a solution. I think the U.S. State Department needs to be investigated. The reason I say that, kind of going to what Ronan was talking about, where they were flying in Russian women. We didn't have that. We didn't have Russian women here, but they're flying in women from Thailand. That work a lot of them all the time. I mean,
your connection,
Darnell, your connection. You need to walk closer to your internet connection because you're starting to talk like you're underwater. You're warbling badly.
Oh, my bad. Is it getting better?
No, not yet.
Hold on. How about now?
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's getting better now.
My bad. I was outside smoking a cigarette, but what I was saying, to go to Ronan's point, when he was talking about Russian women, being flown in the country, here in Phoenix, we didn't have Russian women, but we had women from Thailand being flown in. Thing is, they had legitimate, they were being trafficked, but they had legitimate paperwork to be here. Like, they were here legit, but some kind of way, how were they getting legitimate visas to be here and stuff like that, and
a lot of them came over on tourist visas. Saying you're over on a tourist visa is a legitimate reason, but you came over on a tourist visa in your ninth month. You get what I'm saying? Knowing that you give her to give birth. I'm saying my situation I brought up, not the one you're bringing up. Not the one you're bringing up, but my situation is they literally came over in their 8th and 9th month on a tourist visa just to have children.
Mm-hmm. I don't think airlines allow you to travel if you're that pregnant. I think is that illegal?
They're not policing people like that, bro.
I did hear something about that. Like, if you're pregnant, because they
no, I have never seen, and I've been married twice with pregnant wives. They have never asked her how many months are you to fly. That's between her and her doctor. You heard of HIPAA? They can't ask that question.
Okay.
This is why I say sometimes, we be sitting in the... Oh, go ahead.
All right, what if, like, let's say they immigrated on like the EB3 visa, which is a work visa, right? They got green cards, and then they decide to have children. Shouldn't those children have access to U.S. citizenship if they went through the right process and channel? You're talking about a very specific thing, which is like what do they call that?
Can you repeat what you said?
Tourism. So, like, for example, they got
birthright. Somebody has a green card, went through the process is different. Yeah, if you have a green card, you've gone through the process of your child here, and then I have no problems with that. You come over on some kind of sly underway, and then have a child here, and just by default of the way our government works, birthright citizenship, you're on the land, not by blood. All of a sudden makes you a United States citizen. That was on the slide. You knew you were pregnant. You knew you were about to give birth. You still stepped on that plane to do that. That was a choice.
What if, so my question is, what percentage of people that are being born in this country to immigrant parents, right, hits that specific scenario that you're talking about? Because
right now, if you look at ICE right now, what's been going on in the country, that's the problem that's going on. A lot of illegals came over, they had children, and by default, the secondary part of that birthright citizenship is if your child was born, now you're linked to that child, and for the good of the child, you now get to stay in the United States too. But none of them went through the process of legitimizing their citizenship, even though they were here on their child's behalf, of being good for the children, and they're the citizen, not the parent. They never went through the process of ever becoming citizens. They didn't think they needed to. Now, when they're being shipped back home because they never legitimized their citizenship, they lived vicariously in this country because their child was born here while they were illegal. See how it compounds the problem?
Do you think that
That's what's going on right now, and why that's why they're pulling on the heartstrings of America on the press is, oh my God, they're sending my mother home, and she's been here 30, 40 years, longer than I've been alive, blah, 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 right? Well, that's because she got the ability to stay here because of you. You were the anchor baby. Now that you're grown, your parent never even really went through the process of getting a green card to become a citizen, nor do they even still speak the language. They're still speaking their natural language. You ain't do shit while you were 40 years.
When you have an anchor baby, right? Like, I think they get the green card through that process of having an anchor baby, right?
They get the green card because of the anchor baby, but the whole thing is that's still what they're saying. That shouldn't have happened. They allowed the parent to stay because it was for the good of the child, not that the parent had a legitimate right of being here. They still were illegal.
No, but
you know what I mean?
Card,
you're using the law loophole to allow yourself to stay. Okay, so fine. You get to stay. Your child is a citizen. Why didn't you go through the process over the last 35, 40 years of getting your actual naturalized citizenship and getting your legitimate?
May I interrupt real quick? I just looked up the State Department. May I interrupt real quick? It has to do with the topic.
Good.
So the State Department visa rule under a U.S. Department of State regulation, consular officers must deny a B1, B2 visitor visa for any applicant if they have reason to believe the individual's primary purpose of travel is to give birth on U.S. soil. So there is some kind of
that just happened, bro. I just went over thing August 24th of 2025. That law just changed. I did a whole live on that and why it was going to start causing people to have to be flown home because they were using that, and they just closed that up basically last year in August. I did a whole live on it or a show on it, and that's why now it says that. Before it was so gray, there wasn't nothing outlined. When was that law revised or actually being enforced? I guarantee you it was August 2025.
No, sir. According to this travel.state.gov birth tourism update, last updated January 23rd, 2020.
Yeah, but it was reinforced in 2025.
Okay. Yo, Black Cleaner, where you at? What we doing?
Black Cleaner passed out. What time is it over there? He's in Panama.
I'm not passed out. I was just at the refrigerator, but we letting it rock. I'm monitoring. I mean, if you want to step off, you good.
But like for me, right? Like when you get a green card, however you get it, right? You're technically not illegal anymore, right? And like if I go to, I don't know, Thailand or something, and I go to the proper channels to get residency there, I'm not required to get citizenship. I could just stay there indefinitely as a PR, right? So like why do you get chastised for being? Because technically, when you're a green card holder, for tax purposes, you're considered a U.S. person. Same way a business entity or U.S. citizen.
Green card holder, you're not a U.S. citizen. You're just authorized to be here in the United States.
No, a U.S. person. So I'm talking like when you're considered a U.S. person, you're taxable. No matter where you're at. So like let's say I'm a green card holder, and I go spend a couple months in another country. I still got to file taxes in the U.S. Just the same way. The only difference is that you can't vote, and then you could lose your.
When you get a green card, you actually get a social security number or EIN, and so you can vote.
No, you green card holder.
No, you do. You do. No, you do. As a green card holder, a non-green card holder can't work. A green card holder does get an EIN.
Vote in the presidential election.
I don't think they should be able to vote because they're not legitimate citizens. So why do you have?
You're not allowed to vote. You could work as a green card holder.
Right.
Yeah, but you can't vote.
You can't vote. You should be able to.
Yeah. So, like for example, like my parents are immigrants. So I was born in Queens, in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
My mom's from the UK. My father's from Jamaica, right?
Okay.
My mom, she got her bachelor's degree in America. She got her master's degree in America. She's worked in, the medical system across several different hospitals in the New York City region. And she just recently got her citizenship, maybe like 5 years ago.
Congratulations to her.
She's been in the States since the 80s or whatever, right? So my thing is though, is like, why would she get chastised when she's a model, quote unquote citizen? And I mean, the only reason why she went ahead and got her U.S. citizenship because we seen what was going on with ICE. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're kind of forced to, like, just to protect yourself from these fucking bandits. Excuse my language, but like, it's like there are plenty of green card holders that add value to the American society, and then like a lot of these immigrants are doing jobs that Americans don't want to do, and I don't think they're actually like. And when it comes to like professional work, there's a limit on how many visas they can give. I forgot the name of it, but I know it's like a hard set 50,000 visas per year limit. You know what I mean? So like a lot of people say that immigrants are taking the U.S. citizen jobs, and like I just don't see it.
But wait, hold on. We can do you. Portugal reserves the right to change the rule. I didn't complain about it because it's Portugal. So I don't understand how. Again, this is what I'm saying: the hypocrisy. I don't give a damn if Thailand says, "Hey, we don't want you here," even though I invested or I did this. They can do that. Portugal recently did it. Other countries do it. And when they do it, we say, well, it's their country. But when we do it, it's now these become crooks, evils. Like, it's crazy. In Thailand, nobody looks at an immigration officer, asking somebody from documentation and seeing if they're staying in the country illegally. You won't get Thais beating them up, trying to stop them, calling them creeps or evil. It's simple. Don't be in the country illegally. End of story. End of story. Yeah, and even if they change the legality of it and say, hey, we don't want you to be here longer than 30 days. We don't want 90 days. They do that too. I'm not like, hey, Thai people, shut up. Why wouldn't you want tourists to come? They're added value. It's their country. We allow them to do what they want to do. So the same thing applies to America. But you got more negative resentment. Like, Americans can do that. They can say that. It's their country.
Yeah, but I disagree with is that if you're a green card holder, you are technically legal.
Bro, I'm just telling you, Thailand changes the rules too for people who are here legally. They say, hey, we don't want this visa no more. It should not be. That's what they did for golden visa. They changed the rules. They're allowed to.
If you have a green card, you're not illegal.
Bro, you're not listening. I said that they're changing the rules for people who are legal too. You could be illegal or legal. They still can change the rules and say, hey, we don't want this to exist no more. We don't agree with it. That's what they said with the golden visa. That's why they had to alter it, revise it, because people said, hey, we don't want this anymore, period. And I didn't hear nobody tell them, hey, they can't do that. You can't, they here legally. You got to shut up now. No, they don't.
Which golden visa are you talking about? The Portugal one?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the main reason why they
it doesn't matter. They changed it. They're allowed to change it. It's legal, but they're allowed to change it. And they have protests. I know. I have a lawyer that does my immigration for Portugal.
I don't think
I'm not speculating.
I'm just saying.
Exactly. So Americans can do it too.
If you have a green card, you're technically legal. That's what I'm saying. And even
Americans can do it too. End of story.
My question: what changes are they trying to make? Because my understanding is just about birthright citizenship.
It's not it. They can. It doesn't matter. They're allowed to do it.
I'm not saying they're not allowed. I'm just talking about if you're legally in the country, right? Based on whatever the legal laws were at the time that you got in the country, right?
What you're saying is people should be grandfathered in. Is that what you're saying? That if they were here legally at the time and the law
you can't tell people of the land what they should do, period. Even if Thai people said you're no longer grandfathered in, you have to leave. You were on here on the DTLR. You were here on the D7. They can change that unless you want to fight the locals and say that they're not allowed to change it and they have to do grandfather. There's no such rule in the universe where you have to do a grandfather clause on things that people used to come and it was legal, and then they changed it and said, hey, we no longer want this to exist in our country. You're not grandfathered neither. We're just revoking it. They can do that. It's their country.
I get what you're saying, but my question isn't the thing that they're trying to change is birthright citizenship? Like, let's focus on the actual point here. What are they trying to change?
America?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
They can change that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't know why there's a debate. Like, they're allowed to do it. It's the people and the story.
Explain my reasoning right there as soon as I get it. I just need you to answer the question. Is the thing that they're trying to change birthright citizenship, right? Or the way you have access to birthright? It's not unconditional anymore. It's conditioned to the birthright citizenship. Am I correct, or is there other things that they're trying to change that I'm unaware of? I'm genuinely asking the question because my understanding of it is they're trying to change. Can I take this one?
Yeah. They're trying to change many things. It's not just one person trying to change one thing and that's it. All right. There's always a spectrum, right?
Yeah. They're trying to change. So the American people, when they voted for President Trump, they got tired of immigration. Period. Okay. They were like, hey, no immigration. I'm kind of exaggerating just a little bit here.
Yeah, definitely are.
But the thing is that they had concerns about the H-1B visas, et cetera, birthright citizenship, et cetera. Yeah. But the thing is that so you got certain blocks that want one thing, and then you got other blocks that want another. So exactly. So like Elon Musk, for example, he kind of, in my opinion, he used the MAGA crowd, and turned his back on ending H-1B visas, for example, and that really pissed off a lot of
he didn't turn his back, just don't agree with it. So there goes the spectrum, right? Like he just was like, nah, H-1B visas is good. I'm talking about this. So everybody's different. Everybody's different. MAGA, but MAGA is not the same. And Donald Trump didn't say he had an H-1B visa. So you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't even sound right. And then some people are in the MAGA and they don't agree. Surprise, surprise. People in the same political party. Right, oh my gosh, you would have known they don't agree. So anyways, all of them are different. People want different things. Some want it to be written, period. They don't want it to exist. Someone don't want the actual loophole to exist where people can get pregnant, bring people over, etc. They have to be legal, right? They can't be illegal and do it. Some people are okay with it still, long as they're legal. So these are all these different fractions. Then someone say, well, what about H-1Bs? And they go over there. So again, there's many different fractions inside one group. And they all believe different things.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. You got what the people want.
Just go read it, man. Just go read it. Just go look it up. We can keep talking. You just chat GTP it now and ask what the government specifically is trying to change. It's that easy. It's 2026. So just do that.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking because I think Brotherhood Travel might know the answer, but that's what I was trying to understand. Like, what is the government trying to do? Because my understanding
just Google it. Go ahead.
Like, that's okay. Good. I'm listening.
It's kind of, I'll be honest with you, it's kind of hard. So like, for one, they haven't ended H-1B visa. In fact, from what I understand, I believe they may have even expanded it. Citing lack of technical talent in the United States.
Good.
The thing is that I don't know if anybody remembers a few years ago, or actually no, I think it was just last year. But President Trump, it was last year. President Trump, he brought over a bunch, people from South Africa, claiming they were refugees. There's a lot of, there were whites from South Africa claiming that they were being persecuted because they were white. No one complained about that immigration. So this is just my opinion. I do believe
that's not true.
Well, okay, the liberal media. I'm talking on the conservative. I'm talking on the conservative right. They weren't complaining about white South Africans coming over here.
No, because it was only like 2%, but that would be stupid. But go ahead.
Yeah, in my opinion, I do believe it has more to do with non-white immigration. Even President Trump has been quoted as saying he wants to see more immigrants from European nations like Scandinavia.
And not shithole countries. Yeah, we understand.
And surprise, most of the people that are there for the years have been brown and black. So the insinuation that there's some kind of corruption or whatever the fuck you want to insinuate, most of the immigrants that came here have been brown and black. That's like 80%.
Yeah, but
so racist America. For over decades have been immigrating black and brown immigrants. Y'all sound crazy. That's all I'm saying. Y'all sound crazy. Y'all be trying
I quoted the president of the United States.
I don't care. I'm quoting stats. I'm quoting statistics, not what somebody said. What actually happens on the ground is 80% of black and browns. I don't give a dang what Trump say. He could say one thing the next day. Anybody can say one thing the next day. I look at statistics. I look at the numbers. The numbers prove that that's not accurate. It's far from right. It's mostly black and brown people. Period.
Hey, cool. All the time. Oh, there he is. He's up. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was it.
Yeah, I'm looking right now on ChatGPT.
Did somebody ask me a question? Because I stepped away from the mic. I'm sorry. I had to go pick up a package downstairs.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out what they're trying to change. So it seems like they're trying to get rid of the undocumented, like what I see on Gemini, undocumented, so I guess illegal. But that, if you would have a green card, then you would have been considered undocumented, right? If you would have a green card, social security number, ID documented, right? So that's one. So they're doing a mass deportation of these people, right? Then removal of safe havens, which we were just talking about earlier. Massive funding bill. Congress leaders are moving $72 billion immigration enforcement bill designed to supercharge deportation. Then they want to cut down on legal immigration and visas. So for people that are legally immigrating, they're trying to make it harder for them to get in.
Right.
Which welfare restrictions, stuff like that.
Correct. Not access to our systems. Correct.
Yeah. And then birthright citizenship, which is I can agree. Or I think there's some nuance to that, but for the most part, yeah. But this doesn't. I wouldn't say this affects like the immigrants that I'm talking about specifically because they're documented. So I guess what I'm saying is like, if you have a green card, you shouldn't be chastised. I guess that's what I'm getting at. Like,
no, if you have a green card, you're documented.
Anybody that.
Yeah.
Go tell Portugal the same thing. Go tell Thailand the same thing. Go tell any country that. Because people do it. It's not an American specific thing. The world shouldn't chastise people. Exactly. The world shouldn't chastise people that do have the appropriate immigration. Okay.
Well, I don't think we should.
Mexico does that too. So there we go.
I don't think we should be concerned with other countries. That's immigration policies.
That's stupid, because they're in the world. They're in the world too. Why wouldn't we consider them too? You acting like our situation is unique. You act like our situation is different. It's not different. This is why your life looks like the way it looks like. That's all I'm saying. You're not
Here we go. Going off. Derailing the conversation.
You're missing.
Derailing the conversation.
How do you subtract the entire word?
And you're missing the point.
Come on now. Can't we all get along? Come on.
I now chimed in
the
too.
Entire planet.
Real talk with Nate every Monday at 8:00. Please like and subscribe, people. You guys are getting a little heated. Don't stop. Let's go.
All right. So here's what I'm trying to explain. Okay, not all countries' situations are created equally. You also got to consider, birth rate, right? What's going on in our country? The birth rate is declining. Okay. So in other words, our social security system, for example, in the future, there's going to be less and less workers, to fund the older generation. We're going to have a problem funding Social Security. Even our government has come out and said Social Security, I believe, is supposed to run out of money 2032 or somewhere in there. So what do you do if you have strict immigration policies? Because, say, Portugal, since we brought up Portugal, has strict immigration policies. I would say that's kind of stupid because, hey, we need people to come here, work, and to pay into the system. You have countries like Japan, for example, that have they've already had a declining birth rate for decades, and they have the oldest population.
Portugal actually doesn't have strict immigration policies.
I just use Portugal as an example.
Yeah.
I just used it as an example. Just it could be any country, but
I get your point. You're saying that these immigrants are not all bad, or bringing people in is not necessarily a bad thing because they can pay taxes and add to the Social Security fund that's funding our elderly population.
I mean, illegals right now paying $80 billion worth of taxes that they can never access. So, I mean, yeah, that's a good thing, but at the end of the day, just come in right.
Oh, no.
And that way you get to benefit from the system.
Because they can't even benefit from the taxes that they pay, is what you're saying. So that's just
exactly
money for America. Yeah, that's good.
Exactly.
That sounds good.
I don't care if people come or no.
Well, the world doesn't revolve around you, O2O.
Exactly. That's what I'm about to say. But you need to be quiet and allow somebody else to speak. And you need to start winning in life so it can match what you're saying. But anyways, at the end of the day,
I want to chime in, but I also wanted to bring Charlie Chan TV to the stage for the first time. He's on my panel. Salute.
Yes, sir. Salute to you, Black Cleaner, and the panel, man. I see you over here doing your thing, man, and I had to pull up and support.
Much appreciated to you. Much appreciated. I really appreciate it, man. Because I'm always quoting you over here too, because I be always saying in this thing of ours, but I always give you the shout out because that's one of your favorite sayings. So. Salute for you being here.
And if I may, man, I really mean that to the bottom of my heart, man. This thing of ours, bro, just because people be like, oh, y'all guys only this, that, and the third. I say, listen, man, a lot of business deals are done on the golf course. A lot of business deals are done in gentleman clubs. Why we can't be like-minded brothers that like to travel? So shout out to you and the panel.
I appreciate it. Oh yeah. Let me introduce. This is my cousin Kool Keem. Kool Keem. This is a Charlie Chan. He's another brother that's is a part of this YouTube thing of ours that we do. He has his own channel, Charlie Chan TV. Check it out. He's always talking about this positive, business, relationships, everything. So, he's one of these people that I always, get on his lives and talk. So I just wanted to give him, all his blessings and salutes over here. My floor is your floor, mi casa is su casa. So however you want to do it, you do it.
Salute.
Respect. What's up, man?
All right, so back to what we were saying.
We got what the hell with Darnell. Oh, my apologies. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, go ahead. What the hell, Darnell?
Yeah, we got. I think this is the first time that I'm on a panel with Unfriendly, but shout out to you, bro. Like I said, we got what? Shout out to him. He just has some very unique ways of looking at things. We got OTO in the building. If you don't know, you won't know. Messing with good brother, you know what I mean? Shout out to OTO. We got one of the oracles, goddamn it. My apologies. We got one of the oracles, Ronan, in the building. So, man, shout out, man. It's like a family reunion over here, man. I feel right at home. So, thanks for extending the hand of gratitude, brother.
Sure.
Yeah, we're gonna spin the block a little bit. So let me let you get your input on the topic, which is brotherhood and building abroad. Do you think it's possible? And if so, what are we building here? What's your feedback on that?
Oh, absolutely, man. That is a great title. We got some naysayers, but I'm a strong believer. I am where I am in this YouTube space, and I'm not even saying I'm extremely far, but where I am is because of this thing of ours. A lot of brothers have supported. We got brothers that I've met through the internet, like Ronan and OTO, that I consider to be good brothers in this space that is just like a treasure trove of knowledge, man. So we are already in the midst of building. We just got to dodge these naysayers and these player haters to complete what we got going on. I don't think it's just possible. I think we're in the middle of it. I mean, there's two brothers in Colombia that got together. I thought they was in war together. They met each other in Colombia and they built a hotel. I think that says a lot about the space.
Facts.
Facts, true that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Anybody else got anything to chime in? Because actually I didn't even ask Unfriendly Stoic that question. So while we on that, we'll stick a feather in with that conversation that you all was having before. Do you want to say something on the building overseas, Unfriendly Stoic?
I think it's important that we do that, but it's also important to kind of link with people that are like-minded, because of just from my experience, a lot of people are kind of like for themselves, or they're just trying to figure out what they can get out of you. But if you meet with like-minded individuals that are on the same wavelength, then you can build a strong brotherhood. So there's just got to be a vetting process.
If I may, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm done.
No, I was just asking if I may I rebuttal that? Is when you say that, it leads me to be under the impression that we just want to link with all people that's of the same skin. That's far from what we're doing. We are dealing with a lot of people that are of the same skin, but the most important quality that you have to be of the same mind. You have to be over here willing to build. You have to be over here willing to play a part on a team. A team is only strong when everybody knows their role. It's not too many captains. It's not too. If a team full of quarterbacks went out on the field, they would get slaughtered. So everybody over here supposedly is supposed to have a like mind.
Yeah, but let me ask. There gotta be some type of vetting process to take it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I got
absolutely, and that's why me myself as Charlie Chan, I say it's the difference between the YTF, which is the YouTube family, and this thing of ours. Everybody is not a part of this thing of ours, but everybody that pull up and show love on YouTube is a.
Yeah. The Black Cleaner. Nate's Odyssey. Traveling while black. Real stories. No filters. Follow the journey. Across the world we've roam. Searching for peace while trying to build a home. Through the love and the loss, through the pressure and growth. The Black Cleaner speaking truths most people never told. Follow the journey. No filters, no pretending. Follow the journey. Real stories, never ending. From Panama nights to Cartagena views. Trying to understand life from a different point of view. Conversations get deep when the camera's cut on. Talking purpose, pain, and trying to stay strong. Traveling while black in a world full of judgment. Trying to find freedom while escaping the dysfunction. Some people chasing money, some searching for healing. Others just trying to understand what they really feeling. Nate's Odyssey, every episode authentic. Talking real life lessons, people scared to mention. Relationships changing, friendships fading slow. Trying to find your purpose while still learning to grow. Follow the journey. Across the world we roam. Searching for peace while trying to build a home. Through the love and the loss, through the pressure truths most people never told. Follow the journey, no filters.